Today in this quick video, we're going to turn this thrifted shelf that I got and I've had forever in my back room, and we're going to give it a little bit of a French vibe. It's strong, it's sturdy, it's heavy wood, it's a great shelf, and it just needs a new look because this is kind of blah. So we're going to make it into wow, hopefully. So let's see what we can do. I started with taking off the knob that's in the front, and we're going to paint it with Little Black Dress. That's a color from Debbie's Design Diary paint. This paint has no VOCs, not low VOCs, but no VOCs. So we're just going to give this 2 coats of the black, the Little Black Dress, that is. And yeah, I don't usually paint with the color black a lot. I tend to use a lot of colors, but we're going to do black on this. Next, we're going to add, I believe this is Skeleton Key, and I'm using the same brush that I used the black color with, the Skeleton Key, and I'm just going to blend that in. And I know sometimes it looks like why it doesn't show up a lot, but really it does when you look at it up close. The blending is there, and it gives it a little bit more of a dimensional look. It's not just a flat black on there. I like that. I'm going to add black over it, and I am just going to keep blending until I like the way it looks, not trying to totally cover that Skeleton Key color, just blending. Okay, so we're going to do the top. The top is a plain white. I did clean this before I started painting, and now we're going to put some old school on there. And again, I'm using the same brush that I used on the front of the shelving. I like to do that. Not everybody blends that way. To me, the color is already there. It starts blending within the brush, but some people use different brushes for blending. You just got to do the painting the way it feels right for you. I tend to use the same brush for multiple colors, not always, but in this case I am. So I am going to give the top of this, again, 2 coats of the old school. And now I'm just gonna blend a little bit of that old school on the bottom of the shelf and where the hooks are. And now that the top has dried on the top of the shelf, I am going to use white. And you can use any white. We have several whites in the DIY colors. And I'm going to use this roller from Artistic Painting Studio. I believe this one's called the Lotus Flower. We have this on the website and in the shop if you're interested. I'll put a link below to my website where you can find these things. Now I am loading the white, not using the same brush here because my other brush does have black and the old school color in it. So I'm using a new brush, and I'm grabbing the white paint onto this brush, and I'm just brushing the paint onto the roller. You could pour the paint on something flat and roll the roller on that, and then roll onto whatever you're using your roller for. But I like to just brush the paint on, especially when I'm not trying to do make it perfect, and I don't want it globby. I feel like I have more control when I brush the paint onto my roller. These rollers are great for that little extra, the little extra that you want to add to whatever it is that you're painting. So now here comes the fun part. This is the part where we use an Iron Orchid Design product on this piece right here. It's a transfer. Couldn't think of the word for a minute. And it says welcome in French. And these are the old ones. These are retired. They no longer make them. I do have a few in the store. I like it. It's just the white, and these are perfect for a darker background. So I'm just going to line this up. The one thing about these transfers is because they're different. Now they come in like booklets, but before, the Iron Orchid Design transfers used to come in this rolled up. Well, you saw when I took this out. You have to be careful if you're using one of these older ones that the transfer itself doesn't roll onto itself, because once it does, you're done, you're toast. That transfer, well, it'll just transfer onto itself and you won't be able to use it on whatever it is that you want to put it on. So I'm just going to try and line this up as best as I can to make it even on the ends. And it is a little bit wider, I want to say, that the shelf itself is in the front. So there's some parts that obviously I won't be able to use, but that's okay. The majority of it is going to end up on the front of this shelf that opens up, which I think is really neat. These are super easy to use, these transfers. Once you line it up and get it to where you want it to be, all you need to do is really just rub it. These older ones come with these wooden sticks, where now they come with the plastic ones. The wooden sticks sometimes tend to snap, and you use that for rubbing, but you can use like a credit card or anything. So you're just gonna rub this until it gets on the surface. You can always pull up a little bit to see if it stayed on the surface that you're trying to get the transfer on. If not, you can just push the transfer back down and continue with the rubbing on the transfer. And you can usually tell because when it's working, because the plastic that the transfer is on starts to become clear and the transfer pulls away from the plastic, and you can tell that it's on there. So this is the fun and exciting part, when you start to pull that plastic up and it's clear and you see that transfer on the piece that you're working on and it looks fantastic, and that's when you get really excited that your project is actually coming out the way you want it to. So this project is almost done. I painted the little knob that I took off at the beginning, and I'm using, again, Iron Orchid Design. It's called knob toppers, and these are stamps, and these are great. You can use these with paint, or you can use it with ink. I've painted my knob. I am actually going to use ink, and I'm going to grab a little of the topper. The knob toppers, which is great. This package comes with a whole bunch of different designs. I chose one that said something in French, not that you can really read it because it's small, but it's going to just give that knob a little bit of that little bit of thing that's going to make it special, instead of it just being a plain knob. So once you have inked this little stamp, which fits perfectly over the knob, I might say, you're just going to push down, pull up, and that's it. You're going to wait for this to dry before you touch it, or it'll get all smudgy. The very last thing to do for this piece is just to seal it with whatever you want to seal it with. I am choosing clear wax, and this is also from Debbie's Design Diary. As you can tell, I have my favorite products, and that's what I have in the shop, and that's what I use. And the clear wax is great. You can use a brush. I tend to use a rag. Again, everyone has their preferences. And you're just gonna go over with the wax, and once it dries, it'll lighten up, so don't get nervous that it gets a little darker. And this is it. It's all done. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video. Please like, share, comment, all of those things, so that I can keep coming back here and doing some more projects for you. All right, see you soon. Bye.